standard RedWinston from Global Barangay Trading Co. Professional tambay, nicotine enjoyer, just everything fun, enjoying life. So every time I play, people are always asking me, hey Tanod, what's the best gear? What do I use? What will work for me? And the answer I always give is, there's like no one size fits all for everyone. That basically the kit you build has to work for you. That's all it is. And throughout my years of playing, I have discovered basically what works for me in terms of function, and of course what I like to see in my own kit form, right? So there has to be a balance of both, because I believe in building a kit that looks good but is also functional and it works for you. So to start off, basically I'll give my philosophy on gear and everything, because back in the day when we used to train mil-sim teams and everything for airsoft, everything was all about, could you use your gear in any situation? So we would do drills where we were blindfolded. We had to be able to manipulate everything. And then when we pack our kits for ops, we had like a system that worked for us. So in the dark, you're not turning on a flashlight or anything. The important part is, all of this stuff works for you, you train with it. And that's the most important, is because throughout playing, that's when you will discover, what will work for you, what doesn't in the field, and that's when you remove, you add. But also, if you're on a budget, I always suggest trying out different setups from people who have them and getting feedback, seeing how it works for you. Again, disclaimer: everything is airsoft. I'm not giving advice for people with the experience in the real world, because that's not my avenue to take. I just want to be here for the newbies who are entering the hobby, people who are trying and they want to try airsoft but they're not sure. Everything it's a whole rabbit hole, and it's easy to get lost in it. So I'm gonna start with this, basically what I run and why. I'll start with my helmet first. So with the helmet, it's I chose the Wendy style, so it's an FMA, so it's plastic, the hard plastic, and this is for airsoft basically. And the reason why it's set up this way is I chose a black helmet because if I realized if I wanted to do another camo setup, I could just put a new cover on it. So this is just a cover that I got from Lazada, Ida Gear. What I have here is it's a Repro Wilcox L4G24 mount for night vision. This is just for really dummy night vision purposes, for photo ops shoots, but I have used real ones with these. They're good, but of course, by the time I do have hands on a legit pair, I will for sure be changing this out to something better. My comm setup, so my hearing protection and everything. Most people will have access to ear more. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good enough, to keep your ears protected from hits, pyro, and shooting. Even real steel ear more is decent. But I got these. These are FMA FCS Ops Core amps. So they're repro, but they have better sound pickup. So when I'm playing CQB, when I'm on the field, I can actually hear 360 sound, and it's pretty good. It's good for what it is, airsoft, right? I run the microphone setup, and so I do have these helmet rail mounts. This is actually I've tried them for the first time last weekend. I'm getting used to it, because what I usually do is I run the band under the helmet, and that keeps it a bit more secured. It gives it a tighter fit inside. So still adjusting, but it's definitely better if you're running a helmet to get these mounts, because whenever you need to strip your helmet for whatever reason, it's easier to just pop it off. But again, it's gonna be a bit of an adjustment to put it back into the headband if you're gonna use a cap, right? But everything is an adjustment. You just keep trying, you keep training with your gear, and that's all I really believe in. So I got this from Goku Gear. Basically, it is a repro of some strobe. It's quite good, I think, and it works as intended, basically. So I use it as like a dead man. When I get hit, when I'm walking back, I turn it on so that people know, hey, extra layer of protection, that people see that, oh, there's a strobe going off. So these, and I have these. I think these are called V lights or E lights in the real world, but these are just cheap China ones I got off Lazada. But probably the craziest thing I have for this helmet is inside. So I do have one of the first sets of the Chinesium HHV lattice pads, so they were not so expensive because the real ones cost about 200 plus. But at least, you know, it keeps my head cool. And with the Philippines, where we have tropical heat of like 35 degrees Celsius above, you know, I don't really feel the need always, like when I'm walking back to the States, so I don't have to strip my helmet right away because it's like it's hot, right? And yeah, comfy, especially if you have no hair like me. Yeah, or like you shave your head off and it's gonna be really, really cool experience. And you know, it doesn't get as hot in the summers or when the heat is, you know, at its peak. So yeah, and that's it. So that is my helmet setup. And of course, right, helmets very basic. There's only so much you can do with them. But you know, people have different setups, and again, like everything you do should be working for you and how you like it, not the other way around. You know, you shouldn't. I'm honestly not a believer in, you know, running a setup because you've seen somebody else do it. You know, do your own thing. That's my personal take, and you know, everyone has different preferences.